video is going to look at human eyesight, and it's going to look at defects in human eyesight such as short-sightedness and how we can correct those by using appropriate types of lenses, so in other words, the right kind of glasses. So here's a simple diagram showing the parts of the human eye. Now, there's many parts of the human eye. We're really only interested in 3 because we are not biology here, we are physics. And we're interested in the 3 that work together to focus light and then detect that light and send signals to the brain. So they are, I've highlighted them in red there by the way, they are firstly the cornea. Now the cornea is a protective layer at the front of the eye that stops it from being damaged. It also is curved, as you can see, and what that curvature of the cornea does is as light passes through it, the light is focused slightly. So the light refracts slightly as it passes through the cornea into the rest of the eye. Now from there, the light passes through the pupil, the hole in the front of your eye, and then passes through the lens. Now the lens is where the most of the focusing of light occurs, and the lens is surrounded by these muscles that can stretch or contract to adjust the shape of the lens. So if we want to look at things that are far away, distant objects, then we use the muscles in our eye to stretch that lens to make it flatter, and that allows us to see distant objects clearly. On the other hand, if we want to look at things that are close up to us, then we let the muscles of the lens relax, and the lens will contract back and become fatter, more curved, and therefore it'll be able to see things that are close by clearly. Then the final part that we need to know about is the retina. Now the retina is a transparent layer on the back of the eye and contains rod and cone cells. So as you probably know, rod and cone cells, they're 2 different types. They're for detecting colored light and for detecting black and white light. What we need to know now is the cornea, the lens, and the retina. So this diagram here shows, it's not a great diagram, but this diagram here shows basically how normal vision, like of someone's eye that works properly, should operate. So we've got the guy on the bike here. We've got various light rays coming off that guy, passing through the cornea, being focused in slightly, and then the rest of the focusing occurs as it passes through the lens. And you can see that those light rays then focus to a point at the retina. So they focus to a point exactly at the back of the eye, which means that when the light falls on the retina, the image that is formed will be clear rather than blurry, and then you'll be able to see a clear image when those signals are sent to your brain. However, that's not the case with all people. So for example, many people, myself included, have what's called myopia, which is commonly known as short-sightedness. So if you're short-sighted, that means that you can see things that are close to you quite easily, but you can't clearly see distant objects. So for me, anything beyond about 30 centimeters starts getting blurry. Objects that are more than a couple of meters away will be just a complete blur and nothing else. Now the reason that happens is because my cornea, and anyone else that has myopia, is too curved. It's what we call excessive curvature. It's too curved. So what that means is that when light passes through the cornea, it's focused in too much, and then that focusing plus the focusing caused by the lens means that the light rays will focus to a point before they get to the retina, as you can see here. By the time they've got to the retina, the light rays have actually spread out again, and the image is now blurry. So basically, the cornea is just working too well. So the way you can correct for that is you wear glasses with concave lenses, which means the inside surface of the lenses is curved inwards to form a concave curve. Now we know that concave lenses spread out light, so what happens here is as light rays pass through the lenses of your glasses, they're spread outwards slightly, and that kind of compensates for the fact that the cornea focuses light in too much. So by focusing the light out a little bit, then when it passes through the cornea, you'll still get focused in too much, but this time you've been able to balance the 2 out, and the light rays will actually focus to the back of the retina as they should, and you'll be able to see a nice clear image. So that's myopia, or short-sightedness. The other one is called hyperopia, which is the opposite. It's commonly known as long-sightedness. So people who are long-sighted can see distant objects quite clearly, but they struggle to see things that are close up. So they're the kinds of people that need reading glasses even if they're not old. So people, as they get old, their eyes naturally basically the muscles in their eyes start to go, which means they will have difficulty seeing things close up. That's just a byproduct of aging. But there'll be some people who are long-sighted that will have that problem from a young age. So they need to wear glasses to be able to read from a young age. And hyperopia is caused by a cornea that's too flat. So that when light rays pass through the cornea, they don't focus in enough. So when they've passed through the lens, they still aren't focused in quite enough, and by the time they get to the retina, they haven't focused to a point. If you look at this diagram here, the actual point where the light rays focus is actually behind the eyeball, so they never actually get to that point. So the light rays that arrive at the retina won't be quite focused, they'll still be blurry, so the image that goes to your brain will not be a clear image. Now that can be corrected by wearing glasses that have a convex lens. So people who have reading glasses, who are long-sighted, will have a lens that is curved on the front like that. And basically what that does, as the light rays pass through, as you should know already, a convex lens will focus those light rays inwards. So basically it helps out the cornea and the lens, because the cornea can't focus light in enough. So the convex lens in the front will focus the light in a bit to start off with, and then the cornea and the lens will do the rest of the job. So if you're long-sighted and you're wearing your convex lenses, then the light rays will be focused to a nice clear point by the time they get to the back of your retina. So the last thing I might talk about is laser eye surgery. Now, laser eye surgery is a permanent solution for people who have myopia or hyperopia. So basically, once you've had laser eye surgery, you won't ever need glasses again, or at least you won't until you're old. So it's basically about fixing the defect in your eye that causes you to be either short-sighted or long-sighted. And it basically works like this. It's all about changing the shape of your cornea. So a surgeon cuts a little flap open at the very top of the cornea. It's like a protective layer on top of the cornea. So they cut the flap open so you can expose the actual delicate part of the cornea. And then they shine an ultraviolet light laser into there. And what the ultraviolet light laser does is it basically sort of burns off part of the cornea. It doesn't actually burn it, but it's the same effect. You vaporize off parts of the cornea and they disappear. And by doing that, you can reshape the cornea. So what you want to do, if you are myopic, you have myopia, that means that your cornea is too curved. So you want to burn off part of the cornea so you can make your cornea flatter like a normal person's. On the other hand, if you have hyperopia or long-sightedness, then your cornea is too flat and you need to be more curved. So in that case, laser eye surgery would basically burn away part of your cornea so it becomes more curved than it was previously. And by doing it in just the right way, you'll end up with a cornea that has the same effect as a normal person's, and you'll have perfect 20/20 vision, or pretty damn close to it. So it's really quite an interesting topic, and I've posted here 2 links to 2 other YouTube videos. One's a short little sort of educational video about laser eye surgery, and the other one's a bit longer. It's about 10 minutes. It's actually a live sort of recording of someone undergoing eye surgery. It's pretty graphic, but it's kind of cool, so it's worth a watch. And that is it. Short video this time. So the next time we'll come in for our final video of this flipped classroom unit on optics, and that will look at light and the electromagnetic spectrum. So I'll see you then.